welcome to the garden. Today I want to give you a little autumn garden tour. Our carrot flowers are looking beautiful, and there are these tiny little bugs on there. It looks like tiny little caterpillars. Wow, I did not even know they got that small. They're tiny. They've got stuff on their back too, like flower petals, stuck to their back. I wonder if that's accidental or deliberate for camouflage. Let me give you some scale here. Wow, they are just tiny. This carrot flower's got a little crab spider. Oh, looks like he's actually got a meal. Oh, yeah, a little fly, he just dropped it. The carrot flowers are looking good. Some of them are even producing seeds. And these are actually little burrs that can stick to your clothes. Oh, there's a little leaf hopper down here too. There's just life all over the place in the garden. Last week we planted a whole bunch of seedlings, including these radishes here. And down here we've got some more sprouts. So I can see some cilantro. The ones with the pinkish red stems are beets. Got a lot of those over here. More cilantro, some spinach. And these I think are just more cilantro. They just haven't formed the true leaves yet. These are just the seed leaves. So those are growing great, right next to the tomato that's in the same container. And over here we've got a whole bunch of jalapenos. So I'm starting to harvest these and eat them fresh while they're still green, but they do eventually turn red. I've been seeing the hummingbird on my sunflowers. These got knocked over in that big storm. This year I just let most of my broccoli flower. I really love these flowers because the hummingbirds like them. And they're simple to grow, and you can still harvest them if you like. So I will be collecting these seeds and saving more to grow next year. Then we have all these beautiful leek flowers. This is another vegetable, kind of like broccoli, that I basically grow just for the flowers. Some days they're just covered in bees. Other days it'll be flies or butterflies or even hummingbirds. So they're kind of like my chives. I plant them in big rows and they just bring in so many different types of pollinators. Just under those are a few containers planted with lettuce. So I do want to pull these tomatoes. It's so late in the season now, we're definitely not going to get these to fruit. These just come up from my compost. Got a couple more marigolds here next to our herbs. And then these containers are really heavily planted. So these are our peas and our spinach. They've been getting lots of rain, so they look really nice. But I need to give those peas something to climb. We could also do some dividing. Oh, hummingbird. Wow. That was very close. Oh, wow. Oh, there it is. So this is actually a different hummingbird. The one that I've been seeing all summer is a bit smaller. But back to the garden, we might be able to split these up. I think they're a little too dense. So we could split those up or just thin them out. I like to thin them out just by eating some. So I'll just try and pick one here. We'll give this a little taste. are so delicate. That's a great little flavor too. But in about 1 or maybe 2 more weeks, the container should look more like this. And if you're really behind on your peas, remember you can always eat the leaves too. You don't have to wait for them to produce pods. You can just eat these like any other green. But I think we've got enough time to get a nice harvest. And we have got 1 more pot just like the other one. And this one, I think we could pull that tomato. Probably should have done this last week. Because look, we just lost a spinach. It's just too late for these. We're not going to get any fruit. So we'll just focus on the spinach and the carrots and the peas. Then we get into what we planted in last week's video. We've got peas down here. Those look really nice. I've also got a couple little cilantro plants here. And this is all growing underneath a cherry tomato. I'm also doing some harvesting too while we're out here. We've been getting so much rain, a lot of my tomatoes are splitting. So I'm gonna harvest most of these today. Anytime they're split, I do worry about fruit flies, so I just like to cook them. So I might not actually do a batch of sun-dried tomatoes this year, but you can click on this video right up here to see how I do it. I don't like that raw tomato flavor, so sun-drying them makes them really, really sweet and just so delicious. I like to use a colander for a harvesting basket. This way we can rinse them all at the end really easily. And here are the most recently planted containers. They look just absolutely beautiful. Look at all those spinach on the left and all these lettuce here on the right. So we will have to thin those out. And then these are the radishes up front. They're just perfect. But we do want to space them out, so I'll probably eat about half of these just as sprouts. Same thing with the lettuce. We'll just get in there and thin them out a little bit. And we'll need to do that with this container and these ones over here. Look at these. Whoa, look at that frog. Big old leopard frog. Oh dang! But look at all that lettuce. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love it. And you can see it comes up really thick, even though there are plants all over this container. There's a pepper here, there's a tomato over here on the right, and those are onions. But look, there's lettuce planted all around them. Alright, I think this guy needs to go. He's settling in and he's kind of pushing the dirt around. Get out of here, bud. Look at that, he's sitting on my lettuce. Get out of here. Shoot! Alright, he can sit in that container, that's okay. Oh wait, I've got spinach in there. So to thin out these plants, I'll start by just finding the best and healthiest. Then if there's a little one right next to that, we can either pinch that stem. That way we're just damaging this one plant and not uprooting the one that we like. You can actually pull them out, but at a certain point those roots are going to entangle. So this can actually damage the plants that are remaining. But we'll try and thin these down a little bit to about 1, maybe 2 inches apart. So at this early stage, I feel fairly confident I can pull them out by the root. But if they're a little bit further along, you might actually want to bring out a scissors and cut the stem. You just want to be extra careful, especially if they're close together. Try and pick the smallest one and just try that a few more times with a couple more plants. Snip that one away. Snip this one away. Another thing you can do is actually transplant them. My favorite tool for this is a long skinny fork. So all we're going to do is pick a high density area like this. You want to try and go in at the edge. Go down about 3 inches. and then you want to try and scoop out a little plug. And we should be able to scoop out a few little plants. And now these we can space out in other parts of the garden. Now we want to be extremely gentle in this entire process. And if you have to handle these seedlings, you want to do so by the leaf. That way if you squeeze a little bit too hard, you're just going to damage that one little spot on the leaf, and it'll leave that very delicate stem intact. So we'll grab a couple by the leaf and just place them individually. Don't be afraid to bury a little bit of that stem. That's perfectly fine. And then we'll just backfill on top. So if you can do this on a cloudy day, that's great, or a rainy day, or at least give them a little break from the sun. So I'm just going to use some dried leaves like this. One last thing we can do is plant out our little plugs of spinach. These are really great for filling in little empty spots that might have missed a few seeds, or maybe a container that we forgot. And these plugs are so easy to plant. You just dig down about an inch and then fill in around them. We will give them a little drink, and then we should be good to go. And I could always harvest more kale. Look at that beauty. Oh, is that a cicada? Huh. You know, you don't see them flying around very often. When I see them, they're usually clinging to a tree or something. And I think it's been about a week since I've harvested any beans, and they are just everywhere. So we could do a whole nother batch of those. But look at this. Gosh, there is so much going on in the garden today. A little fuzzy caterpillar. And it looks like he's eating one of the flowers. I found another one too, a different one. This one's brown. I hope you all got a chance to plant an autumn garden this year. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.